Everything you have been told about probiotics and IBD is wrong. If you have ulcerative colitis or Crohn's, I'm going to guess your kitchen has a cabinet or maybe a whole drawer full of probiotic bottles. The expensive ones, the refrigerated ones, the 50 billion CFU ones, the ones a friend swore by. And you have probably spent more on those bottles in the last year than most people spend on a vacation. And honestly, for most of my patients, they did almost nothing. Want to know why? The thing that drives me a little crazy is this is not because probiotics are bad. It is not because you brought the wrong brand. It is because nobody told you the one thing that has happened before a single probiotic even works in your gut. And until that thing happens, you can keep buying more bottles. They're not going to fix the problem. Right now, you're following the same loop. You're reading an article or you're seeing an ad or someone with a great gut tells you which probiotic changed your life. So you order it. You take it religiously for a month or maybe two. You feel okayish, maybe a little better, maybe not at all. And then a flare hits anyway. And you start the search again for the next one. The cabinet keeps growing, but the hope just keeps getting smaller. Before I go further, quick note, nothing in this video is a medical advice. Please always work with your doctor or any other practitioner you trust. Ayurveda works alongside your care always and never instead of it. Hi, I'm Vanashree. I'm an Ayurvedic doctor and I've spent the last 13 plus years working with people with UC, Crohn's, IBS, the hard, complicated gut cases. And I have watched hundreds of patients walk in with bags, actual bags of probiotics. And I have to gently tell them this is not what is going to fix you. And here is why. I'm going to walk you through 5 things. Why probiotics were sold to you the way they were, what is actually happening in your gut when you take one, and the one thing that has to be true before any of them work. The Ayurvedic version of this that has been around for thousands of years and what to actually do instead. Point 1. Why probiotics got sold as the answer. Let's start with this and how this happened. About 20 years ago, research started showing that people with gut issues had different bacteria in their gut than healthy people. The science was real. The conclusion the marketing world drew from it was add more good gut bacteria, fix the gut. Simple, sellable, a bottle on the shelf. And from there, probiotics became a $40 billion industry. But here is what the marketing left out. Just because healthy people have certain bacteria does not mean that swallowing those bacteria gives them you. The gut is not a piggy bank you can drop coins into. It is living, breathing, complicated environment, and that environment decides what stays and what gets flushed out, not the bottle. You can't fix an environment by adding just what is missing. You have to fix the environment first so what's added can actually live there. And this is exactly what the newer research keeps showing. But it is not the message that sells the bottles. Most probiotic strains you swallow do not actually colonize your gut. They pass right through. Some of them help while they're passing through, sure, but they do not set up shop. And visitors are not going to renovate your house for you. Imagine your gut is a garden. Someone tells you the garden is falling because it does not have enough good plants. So you go buy a bag of beautiful flowers and you throw them on the soil and nothing grows because the soil is depleted. The water is wrong. The sun isn't reaching the plant. Throwing more flowers at bad soil does not give you a garden. It gives you a pile of dying flowers. This is exactly what probiotics are doing in a UC or Crohn's gut. They're being thrown onto the soil that cannot support them at all. Which brings us to the second thing. What is actually happening in your gut the moment you swallow that probiotic? What actually happens when you take one is the good gut bacteria releases into the gut. They start multiplying. They push out the bad bacteria. And slowly your gut gets better. The picture is not real. Here is what actually happens. The capsule has to survive your stomach acid. Most strains do not. They are dead before they get to the intestines. The ones that do make it through arrive in a gut that is inflamed, irritated, with a weak or erratic digestive fire, your Agni, and a buildup of what Ayurveda calls as ama, that's undigested, sticky, toxic residue. Now, this bacteria, which needs a healthy environment to function, is dropped in an essentially a wildfire. Most of them just pass right through. The few that stick around get overwhelmed overwhelmed by the conditions and either die off or do nothing meaningful. You cannot see a garden that is full of fire. This is why my patients tell me over and over, I took the probiotic religiously for 3 months and nothing changed. Of course, nothing changed. The probiotic was never the variable that was going to change anything. They were treating a downstream effect, bacterial imbalance, without addressing the upstream cause, which is the inflammation, weak fire, and digestive toxins. Think about trying to plant seeds in the middle of a forest fire. You can have the best seeds in the world, the most expensive seeds. You can pour bags of them onto the ground. They are not going to sprout. The forest first has to stop burning. The ground has to cool down. The conditions have to allow life to grow again. In the gut, the order is the same. Calm the fire first, then talk about seeding. And this leads to the one thing, the one condition that has been in place before any probiotic can do any meaningful work for you. If this is helping you understand why everything you have tried has not worked, do me a favor and subscribe. I make a new video every single week about UC Crohn's and what actually moves the needle. Okay, back to it, because this is the next point that nobody is talking about. Point number 3. The one thing that has to be true first. Please write this one down. Before any probiotic, any supplement, any good bacteria support can help your gut, your digestive fire has to be functional. Your Agni, your digestive fire has to be working, because Agni is what processes everything you put into your body. Food, water, supplements, bacteria, all of it has to be metabolized. If your fire is weak or erratic, or it's way too sharp or burning up everything, then whatever you put on top of it, including the probiotic, is just going to add chaos. The bottle says 50 billion CFUs. If your fire cannot even process today's lunch properly, what makes us think that 50 billion bacteria it can process? Your digestive fire is the gatekeeper. Until that is working, every supplement is just sitting at the gate. This is the part of the conversation that genuinely changes things for my patients. When I sit down with someone and we look at their Agni type, that is their gut type, when we identify whether it's weak, sharp, or irregular, and we start with that, suddenly the food makes sense. The supplements make sense. What to keep, what to drop, and all of it. And what they start to notice is supplements were already starting working a little bit. But because the body could not use it completely is why it was a problem. Picture a really expensive car, top of the line, all features. Now imagine the engine is shot. You can fill it with the most expensive fuel in the world. It is not going anywhere. The car is not the problem. The fuel is not the problem. The engine has to work first. Your gut is exactly the same. The probiotic is the fuel. The fire is the engine. And almost nobody is looking at the engine. And this brings me to the fourth thing. What Ayurveda has actually been doing for thousands of years that does what people hope probiotics would do. What Ayurveda has been doing for 3,000 years. Here is something I think is genuinely beautiful. 3,000 years ago, before microscopes, before bacteria were even known as a concept, Ayurveda already had a system for what we now call as gut microbiome work. It just did not call it that. It worked with the digestive fire. It worked with fermented foods like buttermilk, not the one that you get on the shelves, it's the takra. When the fire, it was weak, cooled down. When it was too hot, regulated. When it is irregular, focus on warm, cooked, easy to digest food. So the body did not have to fight to process the meat. The whole system was designed to do what probiotics are trying to do now, not by dropping bacteria into a sick gut, by making the gut the place where right bacteria can naturally thrive again. Ayurveda doesn't try to give your gut bacteria, it builds a gut where the right bacteria wants to live. This is one of those moments where my patients sometimes get a little emotional, honestly. They've been spending hundreds of dollars on months and months of bottles and find out that there is a system that has been doing this for 3,000 years, but using food, fire, daily rhythm, and herbs that match the specific body type. It literally changes how you look at your gut entirely. Think about a healthy ecosystem in the nature. Nobody's sprinkling animals in the forest to make it thrive. The forest thrives because the soil is right, the water is right, the climate is right, and the animals show up on their own. Your gut microbiome is exactly that. You do not actually have to add more bacteria. You have to build an ecosystem. The right bacteria will show up. This is what Ayurveda has been doing the whole time. So what you actually do instead, start tonight. Point 5, what to do instead. So here is the shift. Instead of asking which probiotic should I buy, start asking how is my fire, because that question changes everything for you. The first work is calming the gut and rebuilding the fire. Warm cooked food, simple food, easy to digest, spices and preparations that wake your specific fire. If it's sluggish or cool or sharp, do not use heavy protein. It's raw cold foods. Once the fire is steady, the gut can be calm, and then we can talk about fermented foods and gently target bacterial support. They actually do something then. On top of all of that, the herbs, specific herbal formulations match to your gut type, not generic ones. Those will be yours. Stop trying to add things to a gut that can't use them yet. Start with the fire. Everything else gets easier from there. So tonight, here is what I want you to actually do. Just one thing. Go to your supplement cabinet, that drawer, that shelf, the place where the bottles live. Take all the gut related supplements out and line them up. Now do the math, roughly, on how much you have spent on them in the last year. You do not have to write it down if it hurts too much. Just notice. And then ask yourself one honest question. Did anything on this shelf ever ask me what my fire was doing or what my gut type was before I bought it? That is your answer. That is why it hasn't worked. The order was wrong. It was never about needing one more bottle. It was about looking at the engine, and nobody has ever asked you to look at that. Listen, I do not want anyone walking away from this video feeling like they have wasted years or thousands of dollars. You were doing what you were told, and the information you had was incomplete. That is not on you. But now you know. You know why none of it worked. You know what the actual order is. And once you know the order, you stop chasing the wrong thing. You start building the right thing. And that is completely different kind of hope. In the next video, I want to give you something genuinely useful. The 5 early warning signs that a UC or Crohn's flare is on its way. Will tell you. Usually 3 or 7 days before it hits. Your body sends signals. Most people miss them because nobody told them what to look for. After watching that one, you will catch your next flare before it catches you. Click right here. I'll see you there.